Hello, tonight I'd like to talk a little bit about the proposed federal hate crimes bill that's being put up again in the House of Representatives. Similar bills were pushed through Congress in the past and they were vetoed by President Bush. President Obama has mentioned that he is going to look to sign this hate crimes bill. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the hate crimes bill and hate speech in general, and work to try to get some of you people to understand what's going on here. This is the strongest attack on the American First Amendment that really we've had in the past 50 years. The hate crimes bill, let me bring it up right now. It is House Resolution 256, called David's Law, and it seeks to put in place federal crimes to punish these supposedly very bad hate crimes. And in instances, let me show you what it says. It says, whoever, whether or not acting under color of law, willfully causes bodily injury to any person or through the use of a firearm, or an explosive device, attempts to cause bodily injury to any person because of the actual or perceived race, color, religion, or national origin of a person. So basically they're saying here is that they want a special federal hate crimes bill that will punish people who are using guns, explosives to attack people because they don't like the person's country of national origin or their race and their like. Now, our position is that these laws are already in place. It's illegal to shoot anyone with a gun because you don't like them or you don't like their country of national origin or their race and their color. And why do you need to have some special laws for this? Now, the reality is that these laws are being placed to politicize crime in America. The idea here is that of all the murders that we have in our country, I live in Chicago, we had 500 murders last year. These crimes that are not committed supposedly because of a person's race or their country of national origin, that somehow these crimes are not serious crimes and they shouldn't be punished in the same way. What this law is looking to do is to implement European Union or Canadian style hate speech or politically correct speech laws, where regular Americans will now be persecuted for saying or even thinking something that is conceived to be politically incorrect. Now, these laws are presented basically just to present certain groups as being persecuted in the past, black Americans, African Americans, or very explicitly gay people, homosexuals. What has happened in the European Union and Canada is that these laws have been expanded to just as a club to attack anyone who says something politically correct. And particularly in Canada, it's being used to attack anyone who criticizes any form of Islam or Muslim immigration. So you have the situation which is expanding. It's very much something out of a Stalinist type of a situation, or George Orwell's 1984, that you have groups that have really nothing in common. Groups such as very aggressive homosexuals and Muslim fundamentalist groups, who are about as different as you possibly can get. But these people are being put in the position of being oppressed, minority groups who are entitled to be protected by these federal hate speech laws, and the people who say anything negative about the homosexual activists who demand equal rights for homosexual marriages, that these people can be brought before a human rights tribunal, which is what they do in Canada, and then they can be persecuted, they can lose their right to publish, and it applies not only just to these gay groups, but also to any Islamic groups. So my position is right there, is that the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, which is our First Amendment, is very clear. It says, let me read it to you. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So the First Amendment is very clear that individual Americans have the right for freedom of speech. That means we can criticize foreign governments, we can criticize terrorist organizations, we can criticize the major media monopoly people, we can criticize our own president of the United States. And the First Amendment is clear, and our position is we don't want to back down from that at all. We don't care if some people consider our speech to be politically incorrect. If we want to criticize the Al-Qaeda terrorist groups and say that they're violent, which they are, and it's not a good idea to let them come here, this is our First Amendment right, and we're going to stand by it. I have noted that the few people who are right now who are working against this bill hard tend to be Christian groups who feel very correctly that this law is going to be used as a club to bash them and to prevent them from preaching against the homosexual lifestyle or the gay marriage, homosexual marriages. They are correct about that. But my position be it shouldn't just be Christian fundamentalists or Christian groups in general who want to protect the First Amendment. Every American should fight to protect the rights of individual Americans to speak how they feel about a variety of issues, politics, culture, history, and we're not going to allow a small group of people in Washington or in the elites of our country to say, okay, this is the politically correct way that it's going to be, and anyone who criticizes us is going to be drawn in front of a human rights tribunal like they have in Canada. Now, the people who say that, okay, well, what do we do about people, the groups that are attacking gay people or attacking Muslims? I don't see many Muslims being attacked in America or Canada. I see Muslim extremist groups putting bombs on subways in Madrid, in trains in London, 9/11 terrorist attack. That's the worst hateful crime in our nation's history. But for those people who say, well, it could happen that white Americans or Christian groups could become violent and could attack Muslims. The laws are on the books. Murder is illegal. Throwing firebombs at people are illegal. And certain types of speeches, if you get on and you incite and say, I want to kill this person, that is assault. Now, that is an extreme version of speech, but if you actually threaten someone, incite people to commit violence, then that is illegal, and that's not protected by the First Amendment right. But this hate crimes bill, it's a terrible bill. And it is being pushed in to take